Hi, thanks for watching our Invested in More series. I'm Adriana Senior with Cetera, and I'm here today with our Head of Wealth Management, Tim Stinson. Tim, thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Tim's team offers solutions that can help advisors truly offer more. Tim's team offers solutions that can help investing in more become a reality for advisors, their staff, and their clients. Tim, let's start with you telling us a little bit about what your team does and how you help advisors offer more to clients.
Absolutely. First and foremost, again, thank you for having me on the show. This is a lot of fun to actually be able to sort of share what we do here at Cetera and Wealth Management about the platform. I think we have to begin with Cetera's vision around an advice-centric experience, because that's really what wealth management is designed to do. We are really focused on enabling advisors to deliver a really client-centric, advice-laden premise to their individual consumer. Right? It doesn't matter what kind of consumer they have. If you have a millennial type of consumer that prefers a more digitized interaction, or if you have a high net worth or an affluent investor that actually prefers more hand-holding based on their life events that they're challenged with, we have solutions that actually enable that. I think our core offering right now is My Advice Architect platform. It is a comprehensive, state-of-the-art wealth management platform that enables the advisor to actually manage all different types of assets in any manner possible. So they can manage the assets in a manner that's suitable to their end consumer, the way they believe it should be managed. And then you have to couple that with really strong financial planning tools and support services for proposal generation and for our ability to actually consult on what drives the consumer to a specific goal, and then to measure it and deliver the results that correspond to that specific goal. Mm-hmm. So that's what we do in wealth management at a high level.
Great. Life cycle financial planning and integrating wealth and retirement planning is certainly becoming more popular, and it requires careful design. Yeah. So can you give us some specific examples of how you help advisors navigate all that?
Absolutely. I think number one, you have to start with the research. And the research out there in the marketplace clearly says that the consumers desire advice. Clear, concise, objective advice. And I think as importantly, they're willing to pay for that advice. And we begin there with that premise. So our technology is really designed around profiling the consumer, helping them understand what's important to them, and enabling the advisor to do that in an incredibly collaborative manner, so that it helps the consumer drive to a specific outcome that they're looking for in tandem with the advisor. Elevating the advisor's value to the consumer in terms of this is not just a product, this is really real-world advice. I mean, I'll speak for myself as an example. As my parents get older, they're in their 80s as an example, the types of complexities with wealth and estates and transferring that wealth are really, really incredibly difficult and complex. And an advisor has to have tools to really understand those things, what the impacts are of taxes, of investments, of income, rates of return, all to try and sort of help us figure those things out. And we have a great suite of tools that allow us to do that. Our financial planning organization, which we call Advanced Planning, is a bunch of CPAs and attorneys that really run around the country and offer that type of aggressive, customized, personal advice to advisors and assistance of the end consumer. So lots of great tools and resources to accommodate that.
And a lot of advisors have found that moving to an advisory-focused offering can help them properly deliver that comprehensive advice, right? Tell us a little bit about that.
I think it's really all based on what we've seen in the industry. In 1992, I gave my first discussion in an open setting, public audience, about why fee-based asset management really made sense. And specifically that we all needed to get on the train or be left behind. 27 years later, if you look at all of the major distribution centers, the private banks, the wirehouses, et cetera, they're upwards of 70 to 80% of their business is fee-based asset management. Okay, so I think that speaks in paramount around what's really happening in the industry. This is an industry trend, and Cetera is really focused on answering and supporting that trend and migration to fee-based asset management. So we have literally an army of consultants that run around the country and essentially help an advisor understand all of the implications associated with migrating to a fee-based asset management. Everything from what kind of advisor should I be, what type of investment process should I run, what tools should I use, what investment products should I have inside the portfolio. There's a whole myriad of decisions that have to sort of be delineated and decided upon in order to really run an effective business. And our people on average have 20 years of experience in doing that. So there should be a good resource to advisors.
Amazing. So what else is on radar for your team for 2020?
In 2020, I mean, I call it the rule of three. I always like to set out three real objectives, and to summarize them, it's really ease of use, it's adoption, and it's also training and education. On the ease of use side, we have to sort of always be mindful that we work in an environment that requires lots of paper based on a regulatory environment. So how do we remove friction from that interaction between the individual consumer and the advisor is really important to us. So when we talk about a digitized engagement with e-signature, with platforms, proposals, and paperwork, having information automatically flow in between systems inside of our wealth management suite of solutions is really incredibly important to us. Second thing is adoption. You know, it does us no good to actually build all of these tools and these solutions, et cetera, and not drive adoption. So we are very much focused on driving assets into our core investment management chassis, and also having people focus in on the myriad of planning tools and engines and profiling questionnaires and new business development tools that we develop. And then last but not least is training and education. On the training front, we intend to double down, if you will, on the amount of regional-based training, seminars, study groups that we do in the field in local marketplaces, and bring the show to you live and in person. So that's really important to us in 2020 and will be a major focal point for us.
Great. So Tim, before you go, can you share with us why you do what you do? What's your more?
Wow, that's a great question. My more is really about embracing the madness, right? This industry, our profession in general, is constantly changing. And for all of you that joined the industry, you probably enjoy that aspect of it as much as it drives us crazy as well. So I constantly preach to myself, enjoy the ride, because what we have today will be different tomorrow, and be different next week, and be different next month. And if you look at just in the last 3 years, an example, there was no such thing as digital interactions, right? So the robo, if you will, it's real, it's here today, much like my kids know nothing else other than an iPhone. Right, so the world is changing. You have to embrace it and roll with it and learn from it and develop great solutions and programs to accommodate that. So roll with the change.
Excellent. Great advice. Well, thanks for joining us today,
You're very
Tim.
welcome. Thanks for having me.